Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I am here with this absolutely gorgeous project that I revamped. This was my project that I did 4 years ago. I was super proud of this project. When I did this, like I said, 4 years ago, I didn't see anyone else having it on YouTube. So I was super proud that I was the one who had a tutorial for it. And now it's kind of all the rage ever since then. So I'm excited. It is a little bittersweet because people forget that I kind of did it first. Yes, that was my little petty Betty movement, but I'm allowed to be petty, right? Anyway, so I'm super excited to share with you a revamped version of my, look at this, Advent calendar book. Super excited. I did do another tutorial. It's a very simple tutorial. Now, like I said, I changed my boxes from what the original boxes were because when I first did it, I really didn't know how to make boxes. And so I just kind of made what I knew. And so it's a little awkward and I had to put a magnet and stuff like that. And also my camera back then was horrible. So you could hear it trying to like focus and stuff like that. So since then I've learned how to use my camera equipment and, you know, I've grown as a crafter. So I'm super excited to share with you this book and the tutorial. I'm going to show you the cover again. Okay, here's the cover. I use Simple Stories, very vintage country Christmas. Absolutely gorgeous. These poinsettias, the large ones are the Tim Holtz poinsettia, tattered poinsettia, and the small ones are Jaded Blossom small poinsettia. The stickers from the sticker collection, and I use Nouveau drops just to kind of give it some more red. And look at what I did being the mayor of Crazy Town, for real. There were little snow dots or little white dots in the paper collection. I took Nouveau drops and put it on every single snow dot. Look at that. It was a lot of work, but it was absolutely worth it. I think it's gorgeous. In real life, you can see it. It's kind of hard to see it on camera. My lights are pretty bright. I added a Believe up there because you got to. There you go. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Here's my spine. I just used a paper from the paper collection. This is huge. I used 8.5 by 11 chipboard. Here's the back. The back is just plain. I didn't put anything on the back because I plan on putting my, you know, my little label right here. So there we go. The tutorial will follow this. Now, the tutorial I did first because I didn't need two of these, so I didn't want to make an example and then do a tutorial. So I filmed the tutorial first and then I decorated. So it looks like the tutorial just shuts off abruptly. It does. Because basically it was, okay, now decorate the tops, and that's it. That's all you needed to do. And then I finished decorating it. My tape is really not holding on. On some of these, I used supposedly a super strong tape runner, but it's not. I'm gonna have to go back and glue it. But anyway, so it came out absolutely gorgeous. I added some of the rose gold strips here because I laid my paper down before I did my cover, and then for my cover I wanted that rose gold paper on there, so I had to incorporate somehow. I did painstakingly cut 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 rose gold paper, and then I took the cut aparts and I cut them down to 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. That was the longest part for me of this whole project, just cutting all these little squares. Yeah, it was crazy. So the other part of the tutorial, I say to do a spine, which is 4 1/4. You don't need that big of a spine. I just mismeasured, to be honest. So you can do like 4 inches or even 3 3/4. It'll probably take that much off. Or you can do 4 1/4, however you want to do it. But 4 1/4, it is a little big, but I like it. So You can put, I was going to put the person's name, like her surname, her last name, down here with rose gold, but I haven't decided what I want to do yet. And honestly, I had a person in mind for this that I wanted to give to them, but then I was like, maybe I want to kind of sell this. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So anyway, you can interchange the lids, obviously. I never know if an advent calendar is supposed to be numerical order or jumbled up. There was a debate online. It was 50-50, and so I jumbled them, but you can always put them in numerical order. Obviously, it's your project, however you want to do it. I just did them by the color. I just randomly put colors on there, so I thought it was great. But anyway, that is the project. Absolutely gorgeous project. And here is the tutorial. Oh, one other thing with the tutorial. For those of you who know how to cover your chipboard, you can probably fast forward through like 20 minutes of the tutorial. Because I kept that in there because I do like to cater to all craft levels. And so I've been crafting for a long time. I have absolutely grown as a crafter. I tend to fast forward through chipboard covering tutorials because I know how to do it. So feel free to use your fast forward button. All right, guys, here's the tutorial. Okay, so here's the tutorial. Now the lids of the box are 4x4 scored at 1 3 on 2 sides, or 1 inch on all 4 sides. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second, but there is an easy way to do 9 lids quickly if you have 12x12 paper. So these are going to be your lids, okay? I cannot stress that enough. These are your lids. So if you want your lids to be cardstock, or you want it to be pattern paper, or whatever you want it to be, have a 12x12 sheet, okay? Lids, okay? This is how you can do 9 lids at one time. Or you can cut your paper to 4x4 and then score it all, you know, slowly, whatever. But let's do 9 at one time. All right, so you're going to put your 12x12 sheet of paper, whether it's cardstock or pattern paper, put that in your paper trimmer, okay? All right, now we're going to score it at the following. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So all the odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay? You're going to rotate your paper and do the same thing. 1, 3, wow. 5, 7, 9, 11. Again, the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay? Just the odd numbers. That's how you remember it. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Odd numbers. Okay? Now, you're going to put your paper in your paper trimmer. It doesn't matter which side you have up, because it's a square, right? Now we're going to go ahead and cut our paper at 4. Put that to the side, scooch over, and cut it at 4 again. Okay, so now you have 3 pieces that look like this. So now what you're going to do is take your pieces that you just cut, make sure one of your skinny 1-inch marks are at the top, and you're going to score it, or excuse me, cut it at 4 again. So 4 and 4. So there you go. You have 9 perfectly scored boxes when you're all said and done. So again, you had your paper cut like this. Turn it so your 1-inch score marks are on the top and the bottom. Cut it at 4 and 4. Okay. Same thing for your last one. I only need 6 boxes, but I'll just show you. I'll just do some. Make sure your 1-inch boxes are on top and bottom, and cut it 4 and 4. Okay. Those are your lids. Lids are super, super easy. The bottoms aren't as, I mean, they're easy, but there's no fast trick. You just have to just get it done however you want. So now I think I have way too many lids. That's okay. All right, so now the bottoms, okay? These are your bottoms. Again, these don't have any super fun trick that, you know, see how it took me to cut and score 9 boxes. It took me less than, what, 5 minutes? We're not as lucky with the bottom box, okay? This, I really, really need you to pay attention because you're going to cut your paper 1 tiny tick mark less than 4. So not the 3/8, but this little whatever 16ths, this mark right here. See the 4? This mark, this is the 3/8. So in between the 3/8 and the 4, that's the mark that you want. Or if you have this paper trimmer, put it at the 10 centimeters. Okay, so you want it at this mark right here. And it's that measurement by that measurement. So the tick mark before the 4 by the tick mark before the 4. It's very important that you do that tick mark and not the 3/8, because if you do the 3/8, then it's going to be too small. Alright, so again, that little tick mark before the 4. Little tick mark before the 4. I'm not going to show you all of them, but I'll show you enough of them. Little tick mark before the 4. Okay. Now, because this one is that weird measurement, there's no easy way, like how the lids were. So you're just going to have to do 1 inch on all 4 sides. So use your paper trimmer or your scoreboard. But you're going to have to do it that way. That way, it's, you know, you're not worrying about having to do the old school way, how I was taught, where like you have to pull it over, have a shim, and all that other business. This way is just easier. Just to do 1, 1, 1, 1. Alright, so you're going to have to do that on all of these little boxes for the bottoms. It's not, you know, that much more time consumer. It's just, you know, the lids were easy. You could do 9 at once. So the bottoms are a little less easy, but they're still easy. Alright, so you're going to do that. You need 24 boxes if you're going to do the exact one as I am. And with these extra lids I just made, I will probably make a mini one as well. So we'll see. Okay. Alright, so when you have your bottoms all scored and your lids, you're just going to put it together like a regular box. And so you're just going to cut on your score line, and you're going to miter on your squares, leaving the rectangles whole. So do the bottom and the top. Now I opted to take out some of the bulk with the tabs. This next part is going to be purely optional. I'm not going to lie, when I got halfway through cutting them, I didn't feel like doing this extra step. So all I'm doing is cutting a little chunk off the tab, just making it shorter so there's less bulk. And you're going to do the same to all of them. You're just going to miter. Now when you put it together, you can choose to use score tape or wet glue. Because I was doing everything at once, I just did wet glue. But like when I made these before and I was doing them on my lunch break, I put score tape that was like one lunch break session with score taping. So I did like an assembly type thing. Okay. So for me, what I do is I just flip it over to the front, add my glue, just a little bit, maybe. I do add my glue to all 4 sides because if you let the glue dry for just a second or two, it's easier. So I just go ahead and scribble on my glue, pick it up, and then put your box together. Just make sure your sides are even. So see, I didn't have to hold it as long because the glue is already tacky. And you're going to put your lids and your bottoms together the exact same way. Whether you put tape or glue, it doesn't matter. Just make sure they're lined up. Alright, so that's just how you put your boxes together. Standard boxes, like so. Alright, so my lids. So this is what I like to do. I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing, or indifferent, but I like to put my tabs opposite. And so for instance, my lid, the tabs are left to right, and so my bottom, the tabs are going to be top to bottom, the inside. I feel like it just gives the box a little bit more strength, but I might be making that up. And then what I did forget is that you can always do the finger pulls if you want to take your little circle punch and just, cut a little finger pull. You can do that too. I'm not going to do it right now. I might do it when I put the box together, but I'm not going to do it right now. Alright, so you're going to need 3 pieces of chipboard. You're going to need 2 8.5 by 11 and 1 4 1/4 by 11. I just left it at these measurements because I had the 8.5 by 11 already. So you can measure it out and do different measurements if you want to, but I didn't want to cut. So I only had to make one cut, which was this 4 1/4. So this is a half sheet. So that's it. Alright. So, you know how normally when we do a mini album, we put it together and we wrap it? Well, we're going to do the same thing. So, because this is going to be, what, 16, 17, 21 1/4, we are going to need 2 sheets of paper. And since our measurement is 11, we're only going to have 1/2 inch on the top and the bottom to cover that, which it's fine. See how small? It's fine. We're going to cover it. Don't worry about it. You could do 4 sheets of paper if you want, but I'm not going through all that. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach my paper. For those of you who already know how to cover an album, you can fast forward. So all I'm going to do is just attach 2 pieces of paper together with some square tape. I'm going to use 23.5. You can use your 1/4 inch. I'm going to use my 3/8 because I think that's enough room. I probably should have got my 1/4 inch out. That's fine. And then just attach it. Make sure if you have like I do, the glimmer paper, that the glimmer is on the correct side. Alright, so just match them up on that score tape, because your score tape should have been straight. Hopefully. Alright, so I know you're just seeing a sea of red, but let me see. Aha! see my messy desk. I may not have enough room to do this in camera. Alright. You know what? I'm going to take my mat out because my mat's only a 12 by 12 and it's getting in the way. Okay. Alright, let me move a whole bunch of stuff so I can do this in camera. Okay, and I went ahead and I put 1,000,000 pounds of score tape on my my chipboard, which this is absolutely entirely way too much tape. I'm not even gonna lie, but it just makes me feel better. If I had my full sheets, I would put a full sheet on it, to be honest. I know for a fact this is too much because I have watched people make books for me and stuff like that, and they don't use half as much tape, and I still have the books 10 years later. But do what makes you feel happy inside. Adding all this 9,000 pounds of score tape, that's what makes me feel happy, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Now, since we... Oh, you know what we should have did? I should have scored it before I glued them together, but I forgot. It's not a big deal. So I'm just going to score mine at the 1/2 inch mark. Just for my sanity to have some lines. This part is absolutely optional. It would have been easier if we would have did it before, you know, before we attach the papers. But that's okay. You just score it 1/2 inch on each side, flip it around, just make them meet. It's not a huge deal. Okay. I just like to have those marked so that way I know it's straight. Especially when we only have that 1/2 inch wiggle room there. Okay. Now, some people, they want the seam in the middle. They want the seam. It doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter where the seam is. But for this one, I'll go ahead and put the seam in the middle. So what I'm going to do is, you see how the seam's in the middle? I'm going to line the middle up with the middle of this. You can be exactly precise. So this would be what, 2 1/8 is where we would need it. You can be exactly precise and mark that on your chipboard. I'm just doing this for the people who need it. I don't care. I eyeball my stuff. I'm pretty accurate now. So you can mark it with the, you know, just with a little pencil mark and then line it up exactly if you want. Okay, if not, just take your tape off and go for it. Alright, so I'm taking all my 9,000 pounds of score tape backings off, making sure there's no overhang. Okay. Line up your marks if you did marks, or if you didn't, then don't. Oops, overhang. This project overhang is not going to be absolutely horrible, but it's always good to get in the habit of not having overhang. See, when I mark the things, I overthink it. Flip it over. Oh, there's my pumpkin. I lost it. It was underneath my mat. Make sure that adhesive is in there. Use your bone folder, your squeegee, your espresso, whatever you have. This came from Sweet Sentiments. She's sweetsentiment.us. Okay, so now, next we have to get our covers on, like so. Now, here's the great debate. Some people like 1/8 of an inch, which I think is too small. Some people like 1/4 of an inch. I think that's too much. I do just enough. So it's a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, but less than 1/4. So probably like, maybe 3/8 of an inch I do. Yeah, thereabouts. So just, you know, that's how I like my books. You may want a bigger gusset when you fold, but I just preferred this. No right or wrong. Usually what I do is take 2 strips of 1/8 of an inch score tape and then I overlap them. But today I'm just going to take my 1/4 inch and overlap it. I like to put score tape down on my paper as well. I feel it gives it strength. Again, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I feel. Alright. So you can do that whole 1/4 of an inch measurement, like I said. I don't know. I just think it's, me personally, I think it's too much room, and I feel it gives the chipboard room to tear because, you know, you have this heavy chipboard on either side of that little tiny gusset and you're opening, close, open and close, open and close. So I feel like this, you know, the bigger the gusset, the more chance there is to tear. I mean, that makes sense in my head. So again, I don't know if that's true. Alright, so I'm going to peel the tape and overhang. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I didn't even peel the tape off these. Alright, peel the tape. Okay, I'm being kind of reckless. I peeled both of them. Alright, so what I'm going to do is about less than halfway add my chipboard side, line it up with my scored guide, and make sure that you are lined up with your spine piece as well, and lay it down and go. Okay, varnish that tape in there. You can use wet glue too, but wet glue takes too long. Look, this is why you don't do this. Wet glue takes too long for me, and then it bubbles and all that. I don't have time for that. Alright, do the same to the other side. Make sure you are lined up and you're straight. And voila. The only bad part is that with score tape, you literally have one shot, because trying to imagine peeling this up. I mean, I guess if you have some undo or something like that, you can do it, but perfect. And see? Good to go. Alright, all we need to do is go ahead and tape our paper here, and we're good to go. Okay, again with the over taping, which is fine. My bottom pieces and my top pieces are already scored, that we already did that step, so they're a little bit easier to bend in. Now we need to work on our left and our right, so you're just going to take your bone folder or your scoring tool, whatever you have, and just kind of make that line as well. Both sides. Typically when I cover my albums or whatever I'm making, I do put the score tape on the chipboard and the paper. It's just with this one, because we only have this 1/2 inch, I don't need both because there's no room for both. Okay, so just kind of train your paper. You're basically forcing it to do what it doesn't want to do. So if you're using cheap paper, this is where you're going to get your cracking. But, I mean, you can always fix your cracking with wet glue, but we're going to do this so we don't have any cracking, okay? I like to do the long sides first. So, oh wait, I need a miter. Now, there's 9,000 different ways people like to miter. Basically, you're just cutting off this chunk. You can just, you're cutting off the end chunks. Hold on, let me see if I can... But you got to be careful because you don't want to cut too much off because you still need to wrap your corners. And so I have several different videos on how to do this, so I'm not going to explain it again. Just miter your corners so that way your corners wrap on the side of your chipboard. If you need that slowed down, just search my YouTube, Tiffany Crafting Like a Boss. And I think it's just called album wrapping or mini album cover, to be honest. Okay. Alright. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to peel our score tape from our bottom piece. We're going to take our wet glue and we are going to run our wet glue generously in that little place between your chipboard and the fold mark. That's going to prevent your cracking and the fact that you already trained your paper. So as you see, I tap in a couple different places and then all of it. There you go. Okay, just kind of get up in there like so. I'm going to flip it and do the top because I do my long sides first. Some people do their short sides first. I just prefer the long sides first. Alright, again, I'm going to put my wet glue in that crack. Tap it down just so that paper knows where it's going. And smooth in. Okay. It's the only thing I hate. I have seen people with the seam, I have seen them cut a triangle out, but it's too much work trying to make sure you don't cut too deep of a triangle and then you can see it, blah blah blah. I'm okay with it. I'm not a machine, people. Alright, look at how beautiful this is already. Okay. Again with our sides. I know you can't really see it, but it's big. Okay, again with the glue. Now this one, because it has this big opening, I'm just going to add glue there. Just so it lays flat and because I'm adhesive obsessed. And then smooth it out. No cracking. Beautiful, beautiful. And I do love paper crafts. What is this called? Paper accent? Paper accents. I love their paper. It's textured, and so you can do all this manipulating and it doesn't bother it. Alright. We're almost done. But you know what? I did not pick a paper collection. That would have been nice, because I definitely need it in this next step. Okay. So your corners should perfectly touch. They should be wrapped. If you oopsie-daisied miter too much off and they don't meet, like this one doesn't meet all the way. For me, I'm okay with that. That's not a tragic miter error, but if you have a tragic miter error to where they don't match at all and you have a big old gap, that is fine. Do not freak out. Just take one of your extra pieces that you already cut off and then just tape it in the corner. Obviously, you're going to cut it down and tape it in the corner to match, because when you put your pattern paper over it, it's not going to really matter. Or put an embellishment up there when you're all said and done. Okay? Don't freak out. Don't redo it. Put a pocket. Put a border strip. You know, don't freak out. Okay, so let's move on. I got to go get a paper collection. Okay, I chose Simple Stories. What is this called? Simple Vintage Country Christmas, because it already has our it has this page. So it already has our advent calendar box pieces, and I want to say they are yep, they're already perfect. They're 2 inches. So these are going to cover our box completely. You can cut them down to give them a border if you want. I'm going to think about that. So I'm going to put this piece to a side because I know I'm going to use this piece for the cut aparts, and I don't want to accidentally use it for something else. Alright, so now we just need to decide what we're going to put in our inside, what you're going to put on your cover. But I'm just going to quickly flip through it so you can just see what I'm picking. And you get to use these images because your book is 8.5 by 11. So like that Santa, look at this cardinal, would be beautiful on there. I typically don't know what to do with pages that have huge images, and so when I make a project like this, oh my god, I love this page. When I make a project like this, I get to use it. Your Minté papers would be great for this. Okay, so I'm going to pick my papers. Okay, I picked these 2 pages that were similar in color. This page had the trees on it, and then this page had whatever this was. This was the rest of that page. So I can still use these, you know, for something else. And that's what I'm going to put on the left and the right. And what I decided for the middle is this page here. Now, typically, okay, I can't say typically, but sometimes what people like to do is to cover their chipboard with another sheet of whatever their binding paper is. Sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. This time I didn't like that because I'm going to have too many seams. So I'm just going to use the pattern paper to cover, you know, whatever I don't want to be seen, like your hinge, your spine. So it is going to go over and tuck under your paper nicely. I think that looks gorgeous. You can even, if you want the seams to show, you can put it on top if you don't mind that transition. I'm going to put mine under probably. Yeah, I think I'm going to go under. Actually, I kind of like it over, but I'm going to go under. So I cut this piece of paper at 6 by 10 and 1, 3, 5 by 10 and 7/8. Yeah, duh, Tiffany. So 6 by 10 and 7/8. Okay. And I want it to go, you know, those couple inches over your score line. So again, this is where I get nervous because I don't want my paper to bubble. And so I'm just going to use score tape. Sometimes when I use wet glue, it bubbles because I don't have the patience to let it dry, which I know it only literally takes 1 minute for it to dry, but because if you close your book before it dries, it's going to bubble. And I know you can do that with score tape too, but I'm going to go for it. Okay, again with my ridiculous amount of score tape. You'll hear me in other videos swearing by glue. You'll hear me swearing by score tape. I don't know. I think it honestly is just whatever mood I'm in. Right now the dryer's on down here and I'm kind of hot and I don't know. Score tape just sounded better than glue. So there you go. I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think it's just whatever you've had success with. And I've had success with both. I've had failures with both. So here you go. Let's just do both. I'm going to be mad if I bubble my paper. It's okay. You know what? It will. We can cover. If you bubble your paper, you can always cover it up. Alright, so what I'm doing is just kind of measuring this sort of in the center. Oh, overhang. So because your spine is 4 1/4, it's going to be less than an inch on each side, which is fine. Just, you know, center it as best as you can, or as much as you want. And mine is too high. I did not center the top and the bottom. I only centered the left and the right. So guess what? Everything I put on here is going to be with this measurement. If I wouldn't have pressed it down, I probably could peel it up, but I am okay. I am ready spaghetti. Okay, so now what we need to do is, where's my fat bone folder? We need to get our creases in here, okay? I kind of like to help the paper by putting my bone folder in the crease as I'm pulling up. Again, I don't know if that's a technique or a Tiffanyism. But again, it makes me feel better, and that's all that counts. And again, on the other side, I'm just going to kind of help it get up in there while maintaining the integrity of my bowl. Yay, no bubbles! There we go. I've seen people do crazy stuff and turn it, like flip it backwards. I'm not about that crazy life. I'm going to keep mine just like this, because if I flip it the other way and that spine breaks, boy, I'm going to be so mad. But I am going to make sure that the book, you know, has movability. You can add a tie if you want to. I don't fold ribbon, so I'm not going to, but it would be really cute if you had like your, I love when like Amber from Layer Clever has like 8 different kinds of seam binding on her little closures. I think it looks beautiful, but for me, I don't need it. But if you want it, you know, now's the time to put that on there, your seam binding closure. I'm okay without a closure. I think in my original, I think I did ribbon, but that's because I was given ribbon for free to do the design. So now I have to pay for it, so now I don't want it. How about that? Alright, so again, I'm just making sure, because this was too easy, and it kind of freaked me out how easy it was. Alright, and then again, I'm going to go ahead and use entirely too much adhesive and line up my paper and have these borders. And I'm going to use score tape, and I'll be right back. Alright, I score tape my perimeter, and I think I'm going to glue my insides. Why? I don't know. Okay. So again, I'm going to go ahead and line this up with that bottom paper. Oh, overhang, overhang. See, when I'm on tutorial, I think this entirely too much. When I'm not on tutorial, I would have been dropped this paper and been done with it. But you guys make me nervous, and you're not even here. Okay, and drop and go. And it's crooked, and I don't care. I can't care because I can't lift that up. If you're afraid of score tape, or if that's gonna bother you, there's a little product called Undo that will undo that, or you can just rub a glue stick over your score tape before you use it. But because it's two busy papers, I don't mind. It is a little crooked over here, but not enough for me to, you know, try to tear this up and all that. Put a border strip on it. You're gonna have boxes over the top of it, and then you're just gonna do the same thing to this side. And if it's really, really crooked, that you just can't handle it, get your border punches out. We all have them. We haven't used them since 1994. Get your border scissors out. Make little borders. Put your expensive ribbon on there. You know, just fake it. Nobody's going to know. How will they know? Oh, overhang. But they will notice overhang because your book's going to stick and rip. Alright, so let me go ahead and line this up with our bottom paper. And I'm just going to tap down this one side so I can make sure this is straighter than the other one. Oh, did I do that? Okay, my bottom is straight. Now let me just make sure this top part. Okay, don't overthink it, and boom. Okay. There we go. Guess I could have picked my pieces to transition just a little bit better, but I don't know. I'm good. And honestly, if you don't pick directional paper, you could always flip it around and see which side you like the best. But I picked directional paper and I'm okay with this. Okay. So basically, now you're just going to add your boxes. You can score tape them or glue them. I'm going to glue them. I'm going to do probably... Yep. I'm going to do rows of 3. You can make it go horizontally if you want your book to open horizontally. I don't know why you'd want to, but some people might. You can do it this way and do rows of 4, whatever, but mine's going to be vertical. I guess I should have said that before we laid the paper down. 3, 6, 9. I guess I should have made sure these boxes would have fit because these are different size than the original tutorial that I did. But they should fit. Yep, they fit good enough. Alright, so you're going to glue your boxes down. You can take the lids off and glue your boxes down, or, you know, glue it with the lids. Just be careful you don't glue your lid. You can do your whole grid. You can measure it out. Why did that look different size when they're supposed to be 2 by 2? It's really up to you how you want to lay your boxes down. If you want to be creative, I saw someone who did like a wonky thing, like this. I don't know how I felt about it. Like how she did it was beautiful, but I don't know if my craziness will allow me to do that. And then I saw somebody else who did the middle were diamonds as opposed to squares. That takes up a little bit more room, but you know, you do you. So I'm going to do me. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I might grid this out. I should have kept that on. Oh yeah, I'm recording, aren't I? Okay. Okay. Okay, what I did was took a pencil and draw super light lines, and 1/2 inch from the pattern paper. Sorry about that pause. I just was thinking I should probably decorate my front of my book and my back of my book before I do this. Yeah, I should do that. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and take off all my lids, and I am going to punch a little finger hole in there. I'm going to grid off my book 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. Yeah. So just to make your lids have the finger pull thing, you're just going to take whatever circle punch you have. This happens to be 3/4 of an inch. Do I have a smaller one? No, I'm okay with this. And you're just going to go in as far as you can. Obviously mine's not going to be the most deep. It's not going to be the deepest pool, but okay. Note to self, put the lids and the bottom separate. There we go. Alright, there we go. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to decorate my book before I go all crazy and put the boxes in. So the cover page I chose was Father Christmas because it was absolutely gorgeous. I put it somewhere safe. Here we go. Look at this Father Christmas. Isn't that beautiful? So that's going to be my cover sheet. I don't know what I'm going to put on my spine. Probably this. I don't know. So this is definitely going to be my cover. So I'm going to cut this down again by the 10 7/8. Ooh, that's really close. All right, so we're going to have to do some rough justice here, because I didn't want to cut off. If I did 10 to 7, 8, it cut off too much, too close to his head. So I cut some off the top, and now I'm going to cut some off the bottom, because I didn't want to chop Father Christmas' head, because I will definitely be on the naughty list, and I don't want to do that. Okay. Now, because I know this is 8.5 by 11, I'm going to do 8 5/8. Okay. That's going to be my cover. I think I want to add... No, I'm okay with the red. Okay. Alright, we're going to decorate this and be back. Okay, so this is how I did my boxes. I put the 3 top boxes on first, just the bottoms, and then I did the 3 bottoms. 3 bottom boxes, and then I went ahead and put the other 2 in. I did grid mine with a pencil on all 4 sides, a 1/2 inch. From wherever I thought, like this one I did 1/2 inch from the pattern paper, this side I did 1/2 inch from the seam, just wherever I thought looked good. Again, you don't even have to do that. It made me feel better inside. And I'm just going to take a eraser pen thing and just erase it. And honestly, you can barely see it, so I may not even do all this. Yeah, so that's just kind of how I did it. You can eyeball it the whole way. Typically I eyeball it, but this is going to a crafty friend, and so I know she will know if it's crooked or if it's off. So if I was doing these for craft fairs, I probably just would eyeball it. You know, they're not going to measure exactly. And to be honest, my crafty friend, she's just going to love that I made her something, so she's not going to care either. But, excuse me, for my sanity, that's what I did. And you know what I just thought of? Oh, never mind. I forgot I did do 24 boxes. They're just, I put them upstairs because I was doing them upstairs while I was watching TV. So, like I said, I laid the 3 on top, the 3 on bottom, the 2 on the side, and now I'm just going to lay these to line up. Now for me, I'm putting all of them a certain direction. Oh no, I just threw the wrong piece of the box. I'm laying mine so that way the tabs are on the top and the bottom. Like the tab is up here and the tabs are down here. Like this. I don't know if you can see that. My lights are kind of bright. There you go. You can kind of see the tabs. I just want mine to be all the same. That's just because you know, my OCD will kick in if I don't do them all the same. So yeah, so mine will look like this. I'm just gonna keep chugging on, chugging on, a little bit of both, trucking and chugging. How about that? And then on this side, I built an L first. So again, it's really just your preference how you want to set these things in there. There's no absolute right or wrong way. It's just whatever. 2, 4, 6, 2. Okay, I thought I was missing a box. It's just however you get your boxes. Okay, so all of my boxes are on. They're pretty much even. I'm pretty proud of myself. So now you can just decorate your tops.